Today we have something that is going to keep you hooked right from start to finish. An intriguing video about how Gwenette Martha became the biggest drug criminal in the Netherlands. And this, for sure, is going to leave you awestruck. So, are you all ready? But before we start, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Let's now quickly get into the video. Gwenette Martha is a man whose name is linked with dominance, bloodshed, and the trafficking of illicit substances. Let's first have an overview of his past history for a clearer understanding of the present. The story of Martha begins in Curaçao, where 8-year-old Martha and his mother and younger brother Giovanni migrate to the Netherlands in order to escape their violent and alcoholic father. The family eventually settled in the dispersed region of Amsterdam. Martha was exposed to the seedy side of Amsterdam as a child and throughout his upbringing. On Thursday, March 5, 1992, Martha and his brother Giovanni went out with some friends to a disco. They needed to escape the place using the Rembrandt plan when they got into a fight with a group from Amsterdam West. The fight began when one group claimed the other had stolen a scooter outside, but it quickly escalated when Muhammad Mumi shot Giovanni, killing him. Martha held his brother in his arms as he died. Mumi was later arrested and sent to prison. When Mumi's prison sentence was completed in 2003, things didn't go well for him either. Mumi was a worker at Melkweg, an entertainment venue in Amsterdam, and it appeared that he was trying to make something of his life once more. Gwenette had wanted Mumi to receive the death sentence, but he received jail time instead. On October 14th of that year, at around 9 o'clock, the murderer of Giovanni was seated in a coffee shop when a man wearing a helmet and black clothing enters and starts shooting at him. Mumi did not endure. Everyone immediately believed that Martha was guilty of this. After the murder of his only brother, he decided to commit his life to crime. During the 90s, many young men went to the drug trade as a source of income because there were limited prospects for legal employment. The situation was no different for Martha. As a teenager, he started to peddle drugs on Amsterdam streets, starting with modest amounts. Yet he soon realized that the higher levels of the drug trade offered the opportunity for far more financial gain. Martha quickly gathered a devoted following of enforcers and drug traffickers thanks to his inherent charisma and readiness to use force when required. He became even more ambitious as his reputation grew. Here, pictured with Martha, are other prominent Dutch drug traffickers, Ton van Dellen and Ronald van Essen. These individuals, who were sentenced to 10 years in prison in 1992, went on to make tens of millions of dollars in the 90s. Martha took the opportunity of their imprisonment and overtook their line of work. He started bringing in huge amounts of cocaine and heroin from South America, using his vast network of connections to ship the drugs across Europe. As a result of his affiliations with other strong criminal groups like the notorious Italian Mafia, he amassed a vast criminal empire that covered several nations. However, scrutiny accompanied authority. The Dutch police, desperate to bring him to justice, had Martha continually under surveillance. Over the years, despite being detained multiple times, he consistently avoided being found guilty. But finally, Martha's luck ran out. He was ultimately apprehended and accused of a number of offenses, including drug trafficking, money laundering, and affiliation with a criminal organization in 2014. He was an expert manipulator, adept at using his position to gain and exercise control. He created a massive criminal empire that spanned several nations thanks to his capacity to forge partnerships with other criminal groups and negotiate the intricate web of the drug trade. But as Martha's influence expanded, so did the level of bloodshed and violence related to his illicit enterprises. His brutal methods, which ranged from kidnapping and murder to extortion and intimidation, earned him a reputation for brutality. Martha had an infamous reputation but also had a certain allure and charisma that made people want to be around him. The fact that he managed to evade authorities for so long is one of the most intriguing aspects of Martha's tale. He was always kept under surveillance, but he managed to outsmart the authorities. He frequently avoided being convicted of his crimes using his wide network of connections and profound understanding of the criminal justice system. Yet Martha's luck didn't run out until a significant police operation succeeded in taking him out. Although Gwenette Martha's arrest and conviction were a significant win for the law enforcement, the consequences of his criminal behavior are still being felt today. How could the actions of one individual have such broad effects? A tremendous and wide-ranging impact has resulted from Gwenette Martha's actions. His criminal behavior had a profound effect on Dutch society and other communities, causing an increase in drug use and drug-related violence. The social fabric of these communities was torn apart, causing families to split up and creating fear in the neighborhoods. Additionally, Martha's engagement in the drug trade had broader social effects, as more individuals began to believe that the authorities were incapable or unwilling to address the issue of drug trafficking. It helped to erode trust in law enforcement and the government. Young people who believed there were few chances for them in a society that seemed to be ruled by the drug trade were also more cynical and disillusioned. If you're enjoying the video so far, do like the video and subscribe. The consequences of Gwenette Martha's actions have been substantial and far-reaching. His criminal activities significantly impacted communities in the Netherlands and beyond, contributing to the proliferation of drugs and drug-related violence. Martha's use of violence and intimidation to keep control over his criminal empire had a catastrophic impact on his victims and their families. Innocent individuals were frequently caught in the crossfires between rival drug gangs. The drug-related violence erupted in the streets of Amsterdam and other Dutch cities, dramatically affecting the local communities. The families were torn apart, neighborhoods were left in fear, and the social fabric of these communities was strained. Martha's involvement in the drug trade also had wider societal repercussions. The ramifications of Martha's actions were not restricted to the Netherlands. His criminal activities had a major impact on Spain and Belgium, where he had developed networks of drug dealers and smugglers. The Andes operation that culminated in Martha's arrest and conviction was a cooperative effort by law authorities agencies in the Netherlands, Belgium, and Spain, demonstrating the worldwide nature of the drug trade. While Martha's arrest and imprisonment were seen as a great win for law enforcement, his legacy lives on and his story continues to captivate people worldwide. The situation involving Gwenette Martha serves as a sobering reminder of the perils of the drug trade and the terrible repercussions that can come from taking part in criminal activities. It emphasizes the necessity of ongoing initiatives to combat drug trafficking and organized crime, both within the Netherlands and globally. On May 22, 2014, Martha, who was 40, was killed. At one point, 2 more men joined the party. With one of those 2, Martha walked outside. He comes under fire with what was presumed to be 2 Kalashnikov rifles. Martha was hit with 80 bullets, mostly in his chest. The man he was with was a small-time drug dealer and a bodyguard insurance on the Amsterdam Zwagen on Sylvania. This friend had recently taken the blame when he was arrested with Martha in a car where 2 firearms were hidden in a secret storage compartment. When about 40 members of the motorcycle club Saturday met at the scene of Martha's murder in Amsterdam on Tuesday, May 27th, they made a lot of motorcycle noises in his honor. The club's president in Amsterdam was friends with Martha. After his passing, Martha's body was discreetly taken to Curaçao and he was buried there in a private ceremony. A USB stick was found on Martha's body after his death, which resulted in 9 additional arrests in Antwerp. And defendants are said to have smuggled hundreds of kilograms of cocaine. €1 million of cash was discovered in one of these suspects' homes. Ziggy Himach assumed control of the group after the murder of Gwenette Martha. He gains from Martha's death and likely betrayed some group members. He then relocates to Spain to join a drug cartel. And that brings us to the end of Martha's story, which in turn brings us to the end of today's video. Hit the like button right away and subscribe to get an update for more such videos. Also share your views in the comment section down below. Well, be back soon.